Hello everybody. We are going to be smoking up a juicy, delicious, melt in your mouth pork belly. So y'all hang around. Well, this is one you'll definitely want to try.
Welcome to South Fire BBQ.
Okay, we have got our little pork belly out and rinsed off, and I patted it dry with some paper towels. Now this is a 4-pound pork belly. This is just a section of the pork belly. A whole pork belly usually runs about 10 or 12 pounds. It's much larger. So this is just a section of it here. But even at 4 pounds, this is going to be quite a bit of pork belly, especially for one person. So what I want to do, I'm going to do this 2 different ways. And the reason I'm going to do that is so I can have it a lot of different ways. This will be great for some slices. To have with breakfast with some pancakes or eggs and grits and whatever. Make a fantastic BLT. Just take those slices and throw them in a skillet and fry them up just a little bit like you would a piece of bacon. Makes the best BLT you ever had in your life. And then also, we're going to do some pork belly burnt ends, or meat candy, some people call it. And what we're going to do, we're going to take and cut little cubes, and we're going to braise them and salsa them and glaze them and do all of that stuff. And you'll see later how all that comes together. And then those will make fantastic tacos. Absolutely the best barbecue pork sandwich you ever had in your life. So there's a lot of different uses we can use this for. So I'm going to do it 2 different ways. So I'll be able to use it in all those various ways. Now, if you look at this, if that looks familiar to you, the reason is this is, if you don't know, this is where the bacon comes from. This is, they take a pork belly and they cure it for about a week or so in a solution. And then generally they smoke it a little bit or whatever, slice it up, and that's what you buy at the grocery store as bacon. This is the same exact thing, it's just uncured. So what I want to do is I'm going to trim up a little bit of this. Any of these little loose hanging pieces, we just don't need those on there. There's very little trimming to do on these. We just want to even it up a little bit is all we want to do. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come right down through the middle of this and just cut this baby in half. Just like so. Now, another thing that you need to notice here, this is a skin-on pork belly. You can see the skin right here, that layer. A lot of times, pork bellies you find, most of the time, they won't have skin on them. This one does, and I'm really glad it does. I love them with the skin. The one that we're going to do one of them kind of a Texas style, a black pepper and salt type rub on it. And that's the one we're going to use for slices to make our BLTs and for breakfast and so forth. And I want that skin on there. I want that little thin strip of skin around that edge. The one that we're going to use for the burnt ends, we don't want anything chewy on there. So I'm going to take the skin off of the one that we're going to use for the burnt ends. All you want to do is just angle your knife towards that skin just a little bit and just let it run right up against there. That skin's a lot tougher than the fat layer is, so there we go. Just like that. And we're going to leave all this fat on here. Now, that skin, this is not going to waste, trust me. There's a lot of different things. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. Sometime I'll throw it in the smoker and just kind of have it as a treat. Sometimes I'll throw it on the grill and grill it where it's good and crisp. Sometimes I'll fry it so it's more like pork skins, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'll probably freeze it with some more I got and wait till I got enough of them and do a big thing of them. But anyway, it ain't going to waste. And trust me on that. Now, that's all we're going to do as far as the trimming and stuff goes. So I'm going to get my seasonings out here and we'll get these things seasoned up. Okay, the first one we're going to do, this is going to be our, we'll call it our Texas style. This is going to be just a basic salt, pepper, and garlic, just an SPG rub on here. And I've already mixed it up right here. And I'll put the ingredients up above for you for that. Now, on the one with the skin, these don't really need a binder. They'll hold the seasoning quite well by themselves. But on this one with the skin, I want to give that skin a good coat of oil. And what that'll do is prevent it from drying out and getting hard and getting burnt spots in it and that kind of thing. It'll help it hold its moisture in that skin. And that's the only reason I'm really using that on there. And I'm going to, most of the time on things like picnic shoulders and that kind of thing, I don't season the skin, but I want to on this because the way this is going to be done with these slices, you'll have that slice and right along the edge of it, you'll have that little bit of seasoned peppery skin. And so it'll add a really great contrast to the rest of the pork belly. You'll have a little different texture and that real peppery real peppery little crust right around that outer edge, and it'll really make a difference on that. And remember, always pat your rub in. Don't rub it and make big clumps. Okay, let's get our other side here. We want to be fairly generous with this SPG rub here. We'll put a little bit of bark on there and get some flavor into it. Just like that. And we'll lay him right there. Touch that up just a little bit. Now that'll stick good once it draws a little moisture up and kind of sticks on there some. Now this other one, what we're going to do with it is I'm going to use our all-purpose pork rub. This is the same rub that I generally use on pork ribs and pork butts, picnic shoulders, all of that kind of stuff. This is a sweeter rub, and it's got a little savory base to it, some salt and pepper and garlic in there, a little paprika for color, and I'll put the ingredients up above for this one also, so you'll have this one. But now this one is a little bit sweeter. It's got quite a bit of brown sugar in it, and all we're going to do is just coat this little jewel up nice and pretty. We're going to get our edges. That's my cuckoo clock going off, if y'all can hear that. And we get this other side here done up nice and well. Just like that. And like I say, you don't need to go nuts with it, but you want to get a good little coat on there. Pat him in good where he'll stick. And let's see if we need to touch up anything over here. Not much really. Okay, there we go. And that is it for getting our pork belly is ready to go in the smoker. Now, I'm going to do these tomorrow. I'm just getting them ready today. These will take probably 5 hours or something like that. So it'll take a little bit of time, not terrible. But anyway, I'm going to do these tomorrow. So I'm just going to wrap them up, put them in the fridge, and I'll see all y'all in the morning. Okay, we are out of the pergola and we've got our pork bellies in the smoker. We've got our smoke going and we're going to run the smoker at 275 all the way through the cook. And I'm going to be using apple for our smoke today. And we're going to let these go now. It'll probably be an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, till they get up around the 170 range. And then we'll take a look at them, check and make sure our rub is set good, make sure they've got the color that we want, and then we'll move on to the wrapping stage. So we'll see y'all back in a little while. Okay, it has been 2 hours and our temperature is up to 170 degrees. We want to take a look at these now and just see, oh, the color is beautiful. Look at that, look at that. Rub is setting up pretty good. It's not set real well. I may let these go just a little bit longer and then we'll check back on them. I want that rub to tighten up just a little bit more, but the color is absolutely beautiful on them. And as y'all can see, I decided to go ahead and put my piece of skin that we trimmed off yesterday in there. I couldn't wait on it any longer. I decided just go ahead and put it in the smoker. I'll have that for me a snack after a while. So we're going to let these go maybe another 30 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and take another look at them. So we'll see y'all back then. Okay, it's been about another 40 minutes or so. So we're about 2 hours and 40 minutes, something like that, into our cook. We'll take another look now and see how our color is and how our bark's coming along. Oh yeah, that's much better, much better. And the color is absolutely just beautiful. Heck, you don't get no better than that. And as you can see, I went ahead and wrapped my skin earlier. I didn't want it to dry out and get hard, so I wrapped it and just left it in there. So I'm gonna get these out and we'll get ready to get them all wrapped up. So we'll see y'all in just a bit. Okay, I've got our little pork belly up here. I've put them in the oven. I'm just kept them in there to kind of keep them warm while we're going through this process. This is one that we put our pork rub on that we're going to cube up. So all I'm going to do is come in. Let's see if I can get 3 out of that or not. Yeah, let's try and get 3. Okay, I'm going to come right down through here. Now, you can do these cubes any size you want, but keep in mind that if you take these up where we're going to take them up in the low 200s, 203, 205, somewhere in that range, you're going to have about a 30 to 35% shrinkage on them. So if you do them, say, 1.5 inches, they're going to end up about 1 inch. Okay, and that's about where I like mine at. Some people do them larger. I like them just a little bit smaller bite. They work better on tacos, and they also make a nicer little small bite for hors d'oeuvres and that kind of thing. So we're just going to come in here and cut these little jewels up. Okay. I'm trying not to mess up our bark any more than we have to. Now, you'll see where a lot of people, they do these, um, when they do them, they, they cut them up before they smoke them. And one of the reasons they say they do that is so when they cut them up, then when they season them, they can get seasoning all around on all the sides and they can season them better. I prefer to do mine as one whole piece and then cut it later. And here's why. We're going to have plenty of opportunity to season these with more seasoning and barbecue sauce and everything at this point once we put them in the pan. So seasoning's not a problem. We're going to be able to season them all over. I tested this before. I done exactly like we did here. I took pork belly, cut it in half. One half of it I left whole. The other half I cubed up and smoked them that way. Then when I got through, I cubed up the other one that I left whole and finished the process out. When I tried them, the ones that I cubed up ahead of time, they were good. There was no major problem with them. But when you compared them to the other ones, they were definitely a difference. They were not as moist and the texture was not quite the same. So you just get a much better texture and it keeps a lot more of your moisture in. When you cube them up like this and put them in the smoker, you're exposing all of these sides to the heat and air inside your smoker. And so what you're doing is you're actually probably quadrupling the amount of surface area there is for moisture to evaporate out. And so it just makes sense that keeping it in one piece up to this point is going to retain more moisture. So anyway, that's why it is hot outside. You see, I am sweating. But that's why I do mine that way. Now, you know, you're going to be aggravating, aren't you? And we're just going to drop these right in this little pan here. Boy, those are already starting to soften up. They still got a ways to go, but they are already getting there. Okay. Now, we do not need this cutting board anymore. Let's get him out of the way. Now, this point, I'm going to put a little bit more. This is our all-purpose pork rub, the sweeter rub. I'm going to give him another little coat of that while we got him here. And we'll mix them around a little bit. There we go. And then I want to take and we're going to drizzle some honey over them. Now, some people put brown sugar and butter in here also. And I've done the brown sugar before, and it's okay, but they end up a little bit too sweet for me. With the brown sugar, the honey, and I'm using a sweet barbecue sauce, and the sugar in the rub, it's just a little bit overwhelming. So I don't use the brown sugar anymore, but I'd use the honey and my barbecue sauce. We don't need a lot of barbecue sauce. We just want enough to kind of coat them a little bit. Let's set that out of the way. And we're going to stir these up, get them mixed up good. So we can get that sauce all around them, get that seasoning and honey. Get all of that mixed up really good. And the best way to do this is just use your hands. But I'm trying not to do that. while I'm filming because I have to stop and wash my hands every 2 minutes. So I'm going to stir these up with a spoon. Okay, there we go. We got them coated up nice. Now, we need a little bit of, I'm sorry about my nose. I'm still overheated from being outside. Now, we're going to need a little bit of moisture in here other than what we've got. So I'm going to add in some apple juice to this. You could use plain water if you wanted to. Pretty much any kind of liquid that you want to use. And might as well, that's one bottle, that's 8 ounces, but it's going to depend on what size pan you got and how many you're doing and all like that. You just want to get about a 1/2 inch of liquid in the bottom of that. Get that out of our way. And now, we're just going to cover them up good. I'm going to cover them up good and tight. Now, ordinarily, at this point, I would just put these right back in the smoker and let them continue to cook. They're probably going to need to go another 2 hours or so. But I would just put them back in the smoker. But it's getting late in the day, and I've had about all the heat that I want to have. And it really doesn't matter at this point whether you do them in the smoker or do them in the oven. So I've preheated my oven to 275 degrees, same thing we had the smoker on. And I'm just going to put all this stuff back in the oven and let it finish out in there so I can stay inside in the air conditioning. So I'm just going to set this aside for a moment. And then we're going to get our other one out of here. And this one is going to be very simple. We're just going to lay him right there on our foil. I'm going to turn him the other way. Yeah. We're going to lay him right there. And I'm just going to roll him up nice and snug. You're going to try and get most of the air out if you can. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this one end up and close it up good and tight. And I've got another bottle of juice here somewhere. We want to put a little moisture in here with this. So now I've got me a nice little funnel. And I'm just going to pour in. We don't need a whole lot. I'm going to put maybe about half of that bottle in there. Okay. I'm going to set this one on a pan. I don't think it won't leak now that I've got it laying down nice and flat. And that's all we're going to do with that one. Just wrap it up, put a little liquid in there, and we're going to put it in the oven along with the other one and let them go. The cubes are, like I say, they're probably going to take about another 2 hours or so. But we'll check them and make sure that fat is really rendered out good and they're just like really soft and mushy like a melted marshmallow. The solid one, I'm going to take it up about 203 to 205, somewhere along there, and then we'll check it for probe tenderness and make sure it's good. So we're just going to let these roll now, and we'll see y'all back in just a little while. Alrighty, we have got our cubed pork bellies out of the oven. They've been in there about 2 hours, right at 2 hours. And what I did, I put my temperature probe in the whole one that we had in there, and I let it get up to 205 degrees. And then I pulled them both out and let them rest just a little bit and calm down. but they were in there right at 2 hours. And as you can see, they are absolutely beautiful, just beautiful, if you can see that. Now, what I'm going to do with these, this is a little bit of the seasoning that we used on them earlier, our all-purpose pork rub. And if you remember, I mentioned earlier that we would have opportunity later on to add more seasoning to these. Well, this is that opportunity. So I am going to, not a whole lot, I don't want to kill the flavor. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit more of that on there. And then I have some sauce or glaze here. And what I did with this, I used my favorite sweet barbecue sauce, which is KC Masterpiece. You can use any kind of sauce you prefer. But what I did, I took and I mixed the barbecue sauce and apple juice, 2-to-1. 2 parts barbecue sauce, 1 part apple juice. For this, I've used half a cup of barbecue sauce, and then I added a 1/4 cup of apple juice. Stirred it up good, and I bumped it in the microwave because I don't want to put anything cold on here. And I'm probably not going to need all this, just a very small amount. Usually when I do these, I usually do a whole side, usually about 10 or 12 pounds. I just did this small amount for demonstration purposes. Normally I would do a whole lot more than this. So anyway, I'm going to pour a little bit of this glaze. Now you don't want to drown them in this glaze. You just want to get a little bit on there just to cover them. I'm hoping you can see this. And then I'm going to stir them around so they're coated on all the sides. Just like that. And there you go. Now, like I say, you don't want these swimming in a bunch of sauce on the bottom. You don't want any sauce on the bottom pooling up down there. You just want to coat these little cubes really, really well. And we're going to leave them just like this. I'm going to put them back in the oven at 275. I'm going to leave them in there about 15 minutes maybe. We just want this glaze to thicken up and get sticky and candy-like. So I'm going to stick these back in. And then, that is very warm. Now this is our whole one that we had. And it is just, Lord have mercy. Now this is going to be messy. I am going to get him out on the cutting board. And I'm going to set this aside. I may want to use those juices for something a little later. Now, I want you to notice something about this. I hope you can see the juice popping out of that. That is just, oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. That is just, we're going to get us a good slice right here out of the middle. Man, I don't even know if I can. That is just fall apart tender, and it's hot. Well, you can see how tender it's just, I can't even do a bend test or anything. It is just fall apart tender. That is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Man, oh man. If you can see that, I mean, it's just, now see, I left that, that's that skin that I left on there, that rind that I left on there, because I love that. Let's see how this does. That's good. That is damn good. Man alive. Okay, I'm going to rinse my hands off and check the one in the oven, and we'll take a look at it now that that sauce has had time to sit up a little bit. So I'll be right back. All right, we have got our little cubes out of the oven, and they were in there about 15 minutes. I didn't really time it. About 15 minutes. And I don't know if you can see how the glaze is set up now. It's not hard, it's just good and sticky. See, it doesn't run or anything at all. And I just want you to look at these cubes. They are just absolutely, if I can get him up there, if you can see that, if you can see how that fat is rendered out of there. I mean, that is just one delicious morsel right there. And we're going to try it. Oh, those things just melt in your mouth. They are so good. That glaze is just set up perfect on there. That is just absolutely sinful. Absolutely sinful. I tell you what, you could probably get sent to hell for enjoying something this good. I'm serious. They are just out of this world. So I'm going to fix up a plate, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Now, if you want to get your day off to a good start, some pork belly and hash browns topped with an over-easy egg is a great beginning. Or how about a BLT that's fit for a king? Now, if you're craving a taco, pork belly is definitely the way to go. In need of a special appetizer or game day snack? Maybe you're in the mood for a little Asian flair. How about some fried rice topped with some pork belly and soft scrambled eggs? Or one of my personal favorites, a man-sized barbecue pork sandwich. No matter how you serve it up, a juicy, melt-in-your-mouth pork belly has got you covered. So y'all give this a try, 'cause I guarantee you'll like it.
Stay tuned for buckshots, scrap shots.
Hello, everybody. We are going to be smoking up a juicy, delicious, melt-in-your-mouth pork belly. So y'all hang around, because this is one you're going to definitely want. Okay. One you'll want to try. And what I want to do, I'm going to do this two different ways. I'm going to take two. Half 2 hours, something like that, till they get up to about one off. If the neighborhood dogs would hush, we could get on with it. Hush, dog. Okay, we are out at the pergola, and we've got our pork butt, pork belly. And then we're going to check them and make sure our color is good. Mr. Dog ain't wanting to cooperate with my filming. I'm going to shoot that bastard. And I'm going to be using apple for our smoke today. I like the way apple pairs up with pork. It's a kind of a medium smoke, not too strong, but it's definitely present. But it gives a good, this is not a film about apple, too much apple. And then we'll take a look at them and check, make sure our what? Lordy, lordy.
Thanks for stopping by. See y'all soon.